Well, I've been performing with a little monkey puppet for years, and that's been like my uncensored voice and my truest self. So I actually met the woman who designs all the creatures for Star Wars, and she upscaled him to a full-size guy. And that was my road into this. I ended up getting into Monkey, losing Nina, and feeling so liberated by that. And then we were thrown on stage together.
Yeah.
We did some improvisation together.
Yeah, I guess that was my inroad into this. I've been doing improv and character comedy for my whole life, and ended up in a 50-hour improv show with Nina. And around 36 hours in, Nina wasn't Nina. She was this giant monkey, and we got thrown on stage together, and they busloaded tons of children in, and the director just said, okay, we've been awake for a day and a half, because that's the whole spirit of the thing. He goes, okay, you're a monkey, you've been funny, go entertain the kids. And we had no direction beyond that, and we went out and survived that together. We found a chemistry, and then bonded and thought, let's keep doing things together.
Yeah, we started doing a stage act, me dressed as a monkey and him playing this character, Roy, and we were loving it. And it felt like a really interesting way to get to know a person, because I was a monkey most of the time we met, and I thought, it feels very much like a love story could thrive under these conditions, with this impediment, but also this weird way of selling the person inside who's too shy to sell themselves, but then can never come out. So it felt like a love story developing, and so we wrote it.
Yeah, and it felt kind of symbiotic, that the character that I ended up being was damaged in such a way that it made sense for him to be able to bond with this monkey man, and fall in love with the woman inside of it. And I don't know, all of our different ways we fit together, it felt true somehow, as bizarre as it is. It felt like a real, true way to relate to each other.
It's so funny, such a weird seduction.
Uncensored.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny, that monkey doesn't respond to everyone. That monkey character is very kind of yes or no, truthful or not, and responded to this guy. And it suddenly felt like, well, these guys are all weird in their own ways, but they get on, they chime in some way. It's really nice to not have a director there. It's actually kind of what it's like, because then we had complete freedom there, and we had a good sense of when things weren't truthful, and we collaborated so much in the run-up to making it that we knew when it felt real and when it didn't. So to me, it felt like artistic freedom.
Definitely, and some of the most meaningful scenes in the film, I think, came across better because we allowed ourselves to improvise our way through them enough times until we found it. Some of the more heartfelt scenes and darker scenes, it was really great not to have a director other than Nina going, oh, let's try it this way, let's try it that way, because we know each other and we know the characters and we know our chemistry.
Yeah.
And like Nina said, once we finally hit it, we go, okay, we got it, because we're in a rhythm together with it, and we can feel it, and we go, yeah, finally, that's good. We've got that scene.
We had Christopher Guest exec producing, so he was great with that. He was the voice of reason, really. He's like, 2 cameras and just go for it, and don't worry about getting a script editor to write things down and make you do them the same way. Just let it be. And we followed that path, and it was some of the most truthful moments really came out of just living the thing at the moment.
What did he say about not saying it again?
Oh God, what was that?
Something like he was about how improvising a scene. He was like, well, I'll say something in this take, but I'm definitely not going to say it ever again.
Yeah. He said, well, you don't want somebody there saying, no, you were holding the cup when you said that. Like, you don't want that. And it was true. We really didn't want that. We wanted to feel like we had a little unique perspective on this weird world where these characters lived. We had a very locked down script, a screenplay, which Shenoah had toiled over beautifully. So we knew exactly what needed to come out of each scene. But when it came to doing it, whatever it took to get that truth out was welcome. That's the biggest challenge. 20 days filming schedule, but it sharpened the mind. and directing in a monkey suit for the first time in a land that I'm not from. Shenoah's from New Mexico. That's why we made it there, and he had all these great connections to actors and crew and everything. But I'd never directed before, so I decided to get a really heavy, furry suit on just to help it along.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a beautiful place, but there are rattlesnakes and things around. And nothing against rattlesnakes. They're nice, actually. But, you know, they were there, slithering through the set some days. So, you know, it's lively.
And we did the whole thing in this Airstream that it could only just drive. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so beautiful and so vintage. But you know, it was like it had to actually do the driving. You don't want to see it being towed. You need to see it moving through.
And we were only allowed to drive it so fast. And on our drone day, we were trying to get this shot, and we had only a little section of this road that we were allowed to shoot on with the drone because we had to slow down for the drone. And where that was, it turned out to be like miles from where we started, and the sun was going down. So I was just risking blowing the engine on the Airstream and flooring it and speeding and risking tickets. And we finally got this beautiful shot of the desert just before we ran out of light. And you know, it was a
There's so much of this that makes you almost superstitious, like in a meant-to-be kind of way, because the odds were stacked against us so many times during this film, and then we just get this, absolutely what we dreamed would happen. And we were like, oh my God, I cannot believe we got that. It was like that so often. And here it is. We got it. I mean, I couldn't be happier with it, you know, and there were so many points along the way where I was just like, we're losing everything. And there it all is. We made it. Thank God.
We started working on it nearly 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And when we started, we thought, okay, well, we'll write it now and we'll shoot it next year. And a friend of ours was like, oh, you're making a feature film. 5 years minimum. We were like, yeah. Here we are 6 years later.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
What?
We were like racing. We've got to make this before we're just too old. I'm delighted and touched, and it just feels right that we're here at Edinburgh. I mean, it's where everything began for us in comedy, and it just feels like where it should be first shown to audiences. It feels really right. It feels kind of personal.
Definitely the same for me. I started doing Edinburgh Fringe Festival 20 years ago. And I never went to university. And I always think I should get an Edinburgh University shirt, even though I didn't go to Edinburgh University. But Edinburgh has been, in many ways, my university as a performer, because, you know, you do the festival and you come out knowing more than you did when you went in.
Yeah. And it's where you learn about life, because you see all people giving their shows with all their like direct, unique stories, and you learn about life through being here. And so it's really nice we get to share our story here.